Hello everybody and welcome back to the Highlander Experimental Cup number 7. Here we are in the semi-finals. We got John on camera and Insomniuhh joining me on casting. How you doing, Insomniuhh, tonight?
Doing alright. Looking forward to this map a lot more than the last one.
Yeah, it definitely will be a lot more action. Gravel Pit seemed to be a little bit stale, at least with the cast we saw previously, but Asheville, it's pretty much going to be guaranteed a slugfest non-stop going on because there's no real great way to hold it, and so it's just going to be probably a constant battle here as we do have 18 on the server. You said that you've played it a little bit in sixes and a little bit actually just recently in Highlander, and
that's right.
I don't know, what were your thoughts kind of, I mean, we kind of hit it before, but with Highlander in particular, I mean, what are you kind of looking forward to? What do you think will be different when it comes to Highlander?
When I first looked at it, it seemed like there were just the 3 extra bodies on the maps would make things way too chaotic, and it's a very compact, narrow map, so it seemed like it'd be this constant slugfest of like batting heads and just constant sniper lanes. But it seemed like you had some more informed opinions on that.
Yeah, I mean, it just basically comes down to, it's really going to be, I think this map is decided a lot by the flank play, as we do have the medic and demo kind of coming out here as the underneath was not contested at all. That tends to be a very common spot for teams to push out into. It looks like the medic in heavy for the blue team are going underneath right now as the red is taking over the points, jumps onto the enemy's bats, and already we're seeing a pretty good fight here from the underneath side. Actually, Heavy trying to do something, but he's getting spammed out very easily from the enemy team. As red team's going to be able to capture this pretty easily, though the Demoman looks like he's going to try to sticky that point from this underneath side, but already we're seeing kind of some different holds as we have both teams have the 100% Uber. Actually, Uber does get popped off onto the red team. Looks like the counter Uber is going to be a little bit better. Actually, they're just about even as the blue team is going to opt to back off here as looks like the red side is going to hold on.
Once again, I gotta give it to those European scouts. The entire reason that play changed so drastically, because blue team had an amazing push-ups of posture and take off that defense, is that Sorek snuck behind, like nearly double meat shot the medic, and they had to withdraw back and give red the point.
Yeah, so here we are. Blue team was able to recapture this, opting for the underneath hold, which I think is a pretty good hold style on this map if done correctly. The nice thing about it is when you have your medic underneath the point and your combos underneath the point, they can kite basically any Uber that comes at them. They can either run up onto the point or they can run underneath the point as they need. And one interesting thing is we're seeing the engineer for the red team holding on top the bats. It's a little bit untraditional to do that, as we also have the blue engineer using the short circuit as that is allowed in this experimental cup. So we'll see how much that can get abused here. As Ankaya down to 70 HP after eating some rockets, but still at 100%. Actually, Delman does get dropped. That's Hidden, who goes down. Uber does get popped off onto the heavy, but that's not be a very good Uber at all. Mini Sentry Gun is going to be contesting them, but here comes a soldier actually onto Ankaya, but gets taken out pretty easily. Counter Uber does come off, and there you go, taking down Susie and the medic. That's Fury. I was as a Pyro, but I know Ankaya stayed up throughout that. I lied. I got confused there, but that was a lot of kills going out in the favor of the blue team.
Yeah, Stacked was really looking like they wanted to bait fair enough onto the point right there, but they were having none of it. When Stacked pushed out with that Uber, they immediately moved the sentry gun up to that shelf up there on the battlements. Looked like, but fair enough, just caught it out and baited that Uber and played very intelligently right there.
Yeah, and actually level 3 sentry guns used by the Stacked team, which I have to say I really question. I just don't like level 3s. I don't think they're that usable when it comes to these maps, or they're just gimmicky at best here. But the blue team is down only 3 players all on this ramp side. They're going to have to give that up here as the red team is going to retake this point. And 2 minutes left in the clock, a minute in the lead already, and pretty good off the bat with Pomsky sitting at 94%. They should be able to repush this pretty easily.
Fair enough, definitely has my favor in this. They did really well, some of the players on there anyways, in the Deutschland, and they've been playing together for a little while. I haven't seen Stack play together, but they do have quite a few good players in there as well.
So here we go, fair enough, pushing across the point with that 100% Uber. Ankaya did go down from Hearts Farts. That is the soldier with the black box. But that Uber was not able to do as much as they wanted to, as it was just the demo man, and the point still hasn't been retaken. Level 3 sentry gun is covering the point slightly as a red spy that is null, trying to be a little bit cheeky here, but he's easily caught out. Finally, this point is going to come down in the favor of fair enough as this combo for Stacks getting spammed out on the ramp side fairly easily. Ankaya back up, but Palmsky sitting at 40% Uber advantage right now. If he can finally find someone to heal, there you go, and he's going to keep building that up. Only now 30%, but the point does go back to fair enough, and here we go. Time's ticking down. Now it's going to be under a minute.
It's going to be pressure on Zach right now to get that Uber out before the round is actually ended. We're going to have Uber in about 4 or 5 seconds from fair enough, and if they want to be offensive with this, they can. And it looks like they might actually have to be a little defensive with this right now as they get onto the point.
And there you go, actually taking him down right now. Now Pomsky at 100% Uber. It does have the Uber advantage on Ankaya, but it's only 20%. That means they have to go right now if they want to do anything. And Hidan goes down to Blood Drunk with that nice snipe right there. And there you go, Nesh with a body shot taking him down. And that is an Uber drop on Pomsky. Here's a Delman. He's going to try to do something as the Uber does get forced onto Ankaya on this ramp side, trying to cross this point. They are going to defend it. A minute and 16 seconds left in the clock. Actually, the Soldier bombing in onto Ankaya as we get the first pause in the game, but he was able to land one rocket, taking him down to 80 HP, and my goodness, what a series of events right there.
How quickly the tides turn, and that's exactly what they needed to do, because time was running out, and see that body shot, that's exactly what they needed. I didn't see the sniper sideline, but just peeked out a little bit too early, may feel a little bit too confident with their playing so far to kind of hold that, milk that Uber. And they have that slight advantage. It's dangerous.
No, absolutely. I mean, this map, the thing that makes this map so dangerous is makes it so easy to bomb across the point for soldiers and make plays, or the sight lines that can be very tricky at times, again, with the snipers, just because you don't see the snipers until it's too late, and we already saw Pomsky fall into that trap here as Ankaya sitting at 20% Uber advantage, not enough to do really anything off of, but 40 seconds. Actually, let me see if I can get my HUD refreshed to make sure this is still going. We still have the level 3 Sentry Gun up on the bat side, as it looks like the blue Dumman's going to try to create some space for his team, but he's the furthest one forward, and he needs some help here as the Soldier actually comes in. She hits 2 rockets, taking down Pomsky, and that's going to about clean it up here. As 37 seconds left on the clock here for the red team holding on to the point, but no medic for the fair enough, and this is not looking good for them at all.
Not at all, indeed. They'll have some spawns up in time to contest this. There's some players on the point right now, but they do not want to bleed right now. It's very dangerous for them to put Hearts Farts pushing up. They were like 30% HP. The demo as well. They just get backed up. Hopefully find the medic, as they do right now, on that left-hand ramp, and get some time on the point as well. It's going to bait Stack to get on the points. As they come out with an oop.
Yeah, Stack's pushing on to the point with an Uber. Actually, Ubered heavy as Ankaya holding on to that Uber for so long. It's going to go into overtime here. It's going to actually be a decent overtime, but with most of the spawns coming in at 8 seconds, it's probably not going to be enough. The Dumbman does try to come from underneath, but he gets cleaned up pretty easily, as well as Mr. Pomsky. But the Soldier actually comes in and gets a 2K. He does go down. That was their last hope, and their next hope is going to be this next round here, as Stacked Gaming takes it in the first round here of this best of 3 in Asheville.
Yeah, fair enough, through everything they could at the point right there. They did a little underplay with the demo and medic pushing in with Dryly at 40%. Got up some damage and some pick, and the Soldier nearly cleaned up enough, but not close enough. Here we go, action starting on this mid now. Scout battle by Clark and Zorex to start things up.
Yeah, and fair enough, again, going for that kind of underneath play, as actually Null gets a nice stab on the Kunai right there here. As it looks like the ramp side is actually trying to be held by Stacked right now, as they're getting some decent spam onto them, but actually none of the damage is really connecting with the help of that Pyro doing a good job on reflecting on Kaya. At a slight Uber advantage, nothing to really go off of here, as actually Ankaya does take some spam, goes down to 40 HP. If anybody bombed over the top of him, it'd be a pretty easy kill to clean up, as he's still pretty low, but both mechs are now seeing it's 100% Uber, and the point is probably going to go down in the favor. I'm sorry, that's actually counter Uber. Both Ubers are popped off onto the point. Delman trying to find some kills, but nobody doing any damage because both of them are Ubered. Scout does come in from behind, does take on Fairy right there, and still a lot of contesting on this point, but nobody capturing it.
Yeah, a lot of really good bombs by Hearts Farts in the beginning to actually initially back up, Stacked into that corner, as well as turning heads when the Uber got popped off by both teams. It's just not a lot of action is being put on the point right now because everyone's looking around trying to figure out if they're safe or not. But finally, we've got some time being put on the point by Fair Enough to take it first.
Yeah, nice job by Fair Enough. I would have been interesting to see Stack get on top of the roof right above Fair Enough. Actually, as Fair Enough's medic does go down to 80 HP there with the Scout just WM1ing right into him as a sniper. Incredibly aggressive. Nesh gets taken out nice and easy. I don't know, maybe getting a little bit cheeky there as Mr. Pomsky now at 100%, but you know, when you're holding onto the ramp side, you know, and the enemy team's holding on the other side underneath, you can get onto the roof and do something cute here. It looks like the combo is trying to find something here. Fair enough, all the way behind the enemy team. Ankaya did go down there. Nice job by Hearts Farts. That is a soldier, as Uber was popped off, I believe, onto Palmsky, but that's just going to be able to get himself out alive, as he lost his entire combo, getting a little bit too aggressive.
At first, it was just Clark back there kind of turning heads, getting a demo pick, and then Pomsky went in there as well. But it was just a little bit of an overcommitment for kind of a trick play. They couldn't capitalize on the first couple picks they had, and now that's probably going to lose them the point right now.
Yeah, and I mean, they maybe are not as familiar with Asheville, but Asheville is one of those maps where you just really can't get a forward hold on it. It's nearly impossible here as Josh comes in there with 2 nice frags. Actually, he's going to pick up a third with the help of Hidan, taking on the Heavy and the Shutter as they retake this point, but a minute and 10 seconds off the clock in the favor of Fair Enough right now, and they're looking pretty good, and maybe they'll be able to balance out this game here as Pomsky a little bit behind an Uber advantage, but they are pushing out on this ramp side, and it'll be interesting to see how they try to retake this point.
Fair enough, it's kind of a replay of last round where they got the initial time to cut off the clock, but they couldn't quite hold it. And bleeding players as they are now, it's going to be kind of dangerous. They're an Uber disadvantage, and Stack is playing, like you said, on that ramp side. They're playing very safe, especially when they have no players like even kind of pressuring anywhere else right now. I think they're just waiting to see where Fair Enough postures and positions.
Yeah, so we do
Uber
get...
comes out.
Yeah, Uber popped up incredibly early by Fair Enough here. Much better. It's going to come out as Stacked here, as they're going to actually probably land a decent amount of frags if they play it correctly, or at least face them out here, as Delman is going to get caught out here as the Pyro does win that battle in that secret area, and Stacked is going to hold on, and I don't know what happened with Fair Enough. I mean, they popped that Uber like all the way back on their own bats, like not going to do anything with that, but Null does take down Q9 on the point right there, and the spawn, again, are going to come up in the favor of Fair Enough as they do not control the point, so it looks like they at least have a chance to take this, as Ankaya down to 10 HP, able to stay alive, so nobody is on the point right now for Stack to defend this.
I guess the early pop-up had to be because that fear of Mesh don't want to jump down there as Pomsky and get body shot again and have no Uber to do anything with, so they kind of pop it, don't drop mentality. And another one comes out as they push onto the right-hand side of Stack, throwing out some sticky damage. A little bit of a server jitter there. Wasn't sure if there was a quick pause or not, but seeing some damage fly out here as they try and withdraw, losing too many players by Fair Enough.
Yeah, again, they had the Uber, slight Uber advantage right there, Fair Enough, and it looks like they wanted to get a medic pick off of that, but not able to even get close to Ankaya, who's now seeing 100% Uber as well as just controlling the point, and Nesh does get that sniper advantage, taking down Viljak right there, so Nesh is going to have free range here for a few more seconds as he's going to use that to kill Blood Drunk. Nice job. I'm sorry, Viljak is the spy, Blood Drunk is the sniper, so there you go, got that a little bit confused here, but Pomsky trying to get onto the bats areas. It looks like Fair Enough just can't figure out how they want to push onto this point, as Stacked Gaming now at a 40% advantage here on the clock, and it is ticking in their favor.
Once again, I got to shout out Sorax. Heartsfarce was just about to jump and go for that bomb, and right when he turned around for that rocket jump, found Sorax pointing a scattergun at him, took him out, and that's going to definitely secure that Uber advantage still, because they've been sitting on it for long enough for Fair Enough to build up their own at this point, nearly. And I guess they've been tracking it rather well, because the Uber comes out just enough time to push Pomsky back, who's connected with nobody right now, sitting at 91%. This is not looking good for Fair Enough at all, as they're pushing it onto the roof and the left side. Oh.
Yeah, it is just not looking good for... I mean, it just seems that Fair Enough... I mean, the biggest thing it seems is their demo man's always the furthest one forward, or just not being completely supported here. As Josh, the soldier, for Stacked on an 8K right now, Uber does get popped off from Mr. Pomsky, trying to push across the point. Actually does finally get that as a spy. Null does get one stab onto the point with the help of the Heavy, who's coming around the corner, and Nesh takes down Pomsky right there, and that should clean up this game as everybody's coming around to the point, and 2-0 in the favor of Stacked, as they are looking incredibly strong. Fair Enough putting up a fight, but it doesn't seem to be enough.
They've got that initial presence, but they just can't capitalize on it. It almost seems like Stacked is having them play that way, making them overcommit once they have that initial time on the clock.
So here we come out into this third round. It is do or die here for Fair Enough. They need to get around to continue playing on, else this is going to be game over for them from this tournament here, as actually Delman gets popped way up into the air, gets taken down by Nesh with a nice body shot as it looks like Fair Enough, again, struggling, but a lot of damage done onto those combo classes, but they decide to back up, get healed up, and re-push here as Hidden takes down Bloodrunk, so that's no sniper here for Fair Enough as they're opting to back up.
Very wise. I'm glad they didn't overcommit and bleed players. Now they're playing a little bit more hesitantly, which is going to pay off for them, I think.
Oh, and the drop! Unkaya drops from a nice crits coming out from Fair Enough, and that was unexpected because I didn't even see it coming myself. And there you go. That might be exactly what they need to do to open up this game. That's going to keep that Uber advantage or Crits Creek advantage in their favor as the Delman gets actually popped across the point. Really nice job there as this Heavy's down incredibly low. Susie going to run away with 16 HP, tail between their legs. And there we go. Level 3 Sentry Gun should get taken out pretty easy. Point is going to go back in the favor of Fair Enough here as they are at 70% with this Crits Creek. And now Ankai is going to be a little bit scared every time knowing that Crits Creek could be popped off on them again. Nice job by Fair Enough.
I really like them switching this up, and apparently the spy was not checking enough to give them that intel, because that worked out perfectly for them. That long ball sticky onto the medic, just absolutely great play, and they're sitting on like 50% advantage on that crits now, so they're going to be able to have a more forward hold right now. And it gets popped up as they are lobbing out those stickies, picks up both and Kaya and Nash, shutting down that sniper's sideline that's been holding them back so long, and taking out the med was with it.
He has got their number. That is a second med pick with this Crits Creek. Really nice job. And the Crits Creek advantage, again, is going to keep up in the favor of Fair Enough as they're holding on to this point. And this is the first time they're looking comfortable, doing just a nice job of holding on. Stacked is looking, I'm trying to figure out where they want to push him. Looks like they're going to get holding underneath, which has been different. They've been generally holding on the ramp side here as they're finally pushing onto the point from the underneath area. Are they going to be contested? But again, look at Fair Enough. They're so far back.
They
they're
might
so
be getting
scared.
flanked right now. Yeah, because behind them, we had Sorax and who was the soldier with her. And they got called out just in time and avoid a big mistake right there. So, Fair Enough, looking healthier as they move back out with the crits being popped.
Oh, and he doesn't know where the enemy combo is. I think they popped that off a little bit too early there. And then the Sentry Gun kind of pushed them out of positions. Any chance they had to do anything with it is gone as Medic actually a little bit exposed here on Kaya at 90%. Doesn't have the Uber yet, is not able to, or is able to keep alive here as the Scout's trying to contest this point or defend it. Here's a nice job here by Fair Enough to defend this point. Uber does get popped off onto the Delman. He's trying to find something actually, but the enemy team already kiting it away. Mr. Pomsky does go down there with Josh coming in from behind with the help of the Scout. And there you go. The flank is doing work, but Ankaya did go down as well from Hearts, and that is a soldier. So each medic going down. Pomsky is going to come back up a little faster, though the point did go down in the favor of Stacked, and they do have the time advantage.
Yeah, once again, at that initial minute and a half almost on this point, but then they lose it and they kind of crumble. I think they can come back from this, though. This Chris play was intelligent, but they went back to Metagun now. They want to feel a little bit more safe, because the risky plays, they paid off twice, but that third Crits Creek just wasn't finding its edge. The players being so scattered around at that point.
And here we go, Stacked now in their traditional spot, holding on ramp side. We'll see if Fair Enough can do something differently to kind of contest them out here. As actually hit it, and that's no Devilman here for Stacked as they're pushing across the point. And Devilman is so powerful on this map, as every map really. Let's be clear in TF2. But there's so many different ways you can spam the point for free without contesting it too hard here. As the point does go back in the favor of Fair Enough, but they're at a decent disadvantage. They need to play basically perfectly to be able to hold on to this, or at least give them a chance to win this game here, as both medics coming up at 100%, so we should see a fight here pretty shortly.
Ansky had some amazing vibes right there on the right-hand side. They started to move their combo out by Stack, but took vibes directly to the face, and Ansky backed up to meet up with his combo, so we're going to see Ubers popped off any second here, I'm certain. Yep, as I say that, Stack pops off onto the point with no one really around, and a quick little counter contest Uber.
Yeah, actually, Ankaya got forced there down to 50 HP. But a lot of the frags actually coming out in the favor of Stacked right now. It's only 4 alive here for Fair Enough, and actually look at Spy is actually in a really nice spot right now. He's going to go for that Demo Man, not able to connect here as a soldier gets a nice bomb in, and there you go. Susie cleans up that damage done initially by the soldier, and Pomsky goes down, Ankaya down to 24 HP, but he's able to stay alive as nobody's contesting. Actually, the Spy trying to jump in, trying to find something. Dead Ring's out of that situation as now the Scout, everybody's trying to throw their body at this medic right now, but Ankaya is still staying alive, 37 HP, slowly healing back up as the point did go back in their favor. 45 seconds ticking down, and it is not looking favorable for Fair Enough as they're just going to get the respawns, but they need to push, and they need to push right now.
Stack did an amazing job of protecting their medic right there. I'm so grateful for that as a medic made myself. They knew how to back up. They were watching that spy, even after the dead ring, and watched the bomb. Both like the demo and their medic got out with just enough HP to keep on surviving. And that failed bomb right there, barely any damage put onto the medic. They're trying to force something, but they're just running around behind now with a little bit of a flank play.
And Pomsky went down there from a nice body shot by Nesh. And here we go. Actually, Soldier trying to get something. Does get the force off onto Ankaya. 6 seconds left on the clock. And here we go. The countdown is happening. The announcer is talking, but is anybody going to get on the point? The Pyro finally does get on the point. The medic's going to try to run on there, but not quick enough here, as it's going to go 3-0 in the favor of Stacked, as they are going to continue on to the grand finals here of this experimental cup on Asheville. Nice job.
Yeah, a lot more action on this map, much more fun to watch, and that was the closest map we had seen it. And I liked the risky play of the Crits Creek. Great attempts by everybody all around going after these poor medics. Filejack had some really good stabs as well, but I'm trying to dig up the logs right now. Take a look at this.
Let's see if I can pull them up myself, but initially it looks like, well, at least that last run in particular, Viljak and... Well, the Viljak's a spy. Of course, the spies are going to get boosted stats. But Sorix and Susie actually top damaging for Stacked, which is kind of interesting. That's your scout and heavy. So kind of unusual to have them be the ones doing damage, at least in the last round. But I'll be curious to see the full stats.
Yeah, Sorak just absolutely doing work. Like I was talking earlier about these European scouts, they've really been impressing me the more and more that I've been paying attention to the scene.
Yeah, and so looking at it right now, we have Nesh, who top fragged in that half, or I guess it's the game because we only played one half this round, at 31 frags, which is doing crazy work compared to Blood Drunk. I mean, that's the biggest thing that it stands out to me, you know, when you're comparing classes, that Blood Drunk at 13 frags, Nesh at 31, almost 3 times as much. And when you have a sniper who's going uncontested or being able to do that much work, you're not going to have a fun game. Like, it's going to work against you. And one interesting thing, too, is that, I mean, maybe that was because Beep played level 3 sentry guns,
that's what
and then the
say,
sniper... Maybe he felt more comfortable because he was uncontested on bats. So that's, even though Beep didn't do more work because of the level 3 sentry guns, maybe it allowed his sniper to get more comfortable due to that fact.
That's what I was starting to pick up on in that second round, because earlier on in the cast, we'd been talking about the fact that I thought that snipers would be the biggest presence on this map, and you kind of said no with all the flanks and stuff, but I think that Beep kind of capitalized on the fact that level 3, it might not be pressuring the point too much, but if Nesh has that free reign to just feel confident, like his doesn't check his back every 3 seconds, he definitely was on fire because of it.
Yeah, he definitely was, and I mean, the only other stat line that kind of pops out at me right now is Hidan actually, for Stacked, actually had 3,000 less damage than the Demo Man for Fair Enough. So, not putting out crazy amounts of damage for Demo Man, especially on this map, especially winning. A bit unusual. You kind of expect to see him at least on par, but that also kind of speaks to Fair Enough's Demo Man, who is continually like the furthest one forward, maybe a little bit unsupported by his teammates, and ultimately maybe working against their favor, is maybe they just were a little bit too passive, is kind of what it felt like to me on the Fair Enough side of where they were going wrong.
Yeah, you had that damage, and the damage per minute, the kill is better than the demo, but it's all about the kind of the combo that they played. 2 teams with, I guess, incredibly different play styles.
Yeah, it definitely was, and it's kind of interesting too, just because I'm assuming that the European scene isn't nearly as well versed on Asheville. I mean, I've been playing Asheville, this exact same map, since season 9 or 8.
Yeah, since it was Coal Plant.
Yeah, like it's been a while, so it definitely in America we have a very kind of developed, or like we've played this map so much, it's kind of a favorite. At least it's one of my favorites when it comes to Koth maps. But it seems to be played pretty well here too. But yeah, definitely interesting to see how everybody kind of different played it in the utilization of the flanks. I don't know, do you have any kind of final thoughts on Asheville?
I definitely like it, but I wanted to see more of the underneath tactics. They had a really good push the first 2 times they used it by Fair Enough, but just couldn't utilize it or turned heads at the right or the wrong time. Didn't have the bombs coming in. I've seen those plays work so often and so well. I think that it just was kind of an unused tactic.
Yeah, I mean, the underneath area, I mean, as I said, it can be very useful, especially if you shut it down or you can kind of make plays off of it, but You know, I think it'll develop with the meta. The more they play it, the more they do stuff around it. They will definitely kind of develop new, different play styles. But I mean, we already saw, as you said, Sorix in the flanks doing absolute work, which is basically Asheville should just be called like Flankville, because that's all it really is. So yeah, great job. Congrats to Stack, who are going to be moving on to the finals. That is going to be the next match we are going to see. It is either going to be, I'd have to look it up real quick here. It is going to be High Panda playing against Stack here in the finals, and it is going to be played on a lovely, lovely map. It's going to actually be Badwater, the fan favorite, everybody's favorite payload map, but it's going to be the pro version number 8. So it's been through some iterations. It's been this pro version's been played, I believe, in at least 2 seasons of UGC, or somewhere around there. Yeah, but this pro version, and it was played in the Nations Cup as well, so it's not completely new. So it'll definitely be interesting to see how teams play this. But it's virtually the same, but I think we can save our talk about what we want to talk about that when we get there. Let's take it to a quick break here, as both teams, I believe, are done. So we'll come back here, guys, pretty shortly. Stay tuned for the finals, Stack versus High Panda on PL Badwater Pro 8. Stay tuned, guys.